Peace be upon you. My name is Rashida Sadiq, the Emulgent teacher. Today, I'd like to give you top 10 strategies for motivating learners. So what exactly is motivation? Motivation is what moves you, what drives you, what makes you want to achieve something, your motives. So why is it important for children to be motivated? More and more, a lot of learners are seeing learning or school as a scam. They're disinterested, it's boring. So we as teachers, as caregivers, as educators, need to think of ways to motivate them. And even as adults, sometimes when you have intrinsic motivation, you just lose that drive. So you need motivation. It's important that we motivate the learners because this helps them to stay persistent, to stay consistent, to stay passionate about what they're learning. When we motivate learners, they also are able to persevere even if the task seems difficult. But when they're unmotivated, once it looks as if something is difficult to do, they're going to give up. The last reason why it's important to motivate learners is that it boosts critical thinking and creativity. So imagine I give a task to you which you're not really motivated about. You're going to do the barest minimum just to pass it. But if it's something that you're motivated about, I've encouraged you about, you're going to keep thinking of the best ways that you can do that task to achieve the goals. So what are those strategies? The first one is that you should teach and practice a growth mindset. So what is a growth mindset? Now that in itself could be a whole long lecture. It's a concept developed by Carol Dweck that talks about the states of the mind that help us to grow. So you could have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. So a simple example is that someone that has a growth mindset understands that it's okay to fail, understands that learning can be acquired by anyone. But someone with a fixed mindset believes that failure is a no-no, believes that either you're born with a talent or you're not, that you have to be good at something, you can't become good at something. So as teachers, we need to show the children that we have a growth mindset and we need to nurture this mindset in them. We need to tell them things such as you can't do it yet, but you still should try. I know you can do it. The next thing that we need to do as teachers is to be supportive and to believe in our learners. Learners know when you believe in them, and it gives them the edge. It makes them want to try. But some of us already have these feelings at the back of our minds that, oh, this is a no good child. He's too lazy. He's not smart enough. And the learners can sense this even if you don't tell them because of the ways we behave. But outside of this, it's good that we're supportive. We're there to give them support, to encourage them. This really does motivate the learners to want to do more. Another important thing that we should do is try to work within the zones of proximal development of the learners. So we need to give challenges that are just right. Now, if you give a task that is too difficult and the child is almost never able to achieve it, the child is going to get discouraged. The learner will not want to do it. And if you give a task that's too easy, then that's just a walkover. They're going to do it and then be bored and not interested. I mean, why give someone in university a nursery type of work to do and expect that person to be motivated? You're just wasting their time. Another important aspect of motivating learners is to give them responsibilities. Now, if you have a task within the classroom setting, you're going to feel wanted, you're going to feel useful. You won't actually be able to go into your shell and relax too much because at any point in time, you will be needed to participate and contribute your own quota. So there are different types of tasks. Even something as simple as sharing out pencils helps to motivate the learners. It makes them know what next to do and the fact that they're useful. Also during the class, if you have a group task or a class task, you can assign someone that's going to be a timekeeper. You can assign someone that's going to be a secretary for the task. You can assign someone that's going to research some of the things for the task, someone that's going to present. Now, if every child or every learner has a task to do, they're going to stay on their toes. But if some people are charged with doing all the work and other people are just left there, then they're going to just leave it to those that are willing in the first place. The fifth thing we can do to build motivation in our learners is to give agency. So what does that mean? It means that you should give them the opportunity to take ownership, to be a bit independent in their learning. Give them the ability to choose sometimes what they want to learn, to choose how they want to learn it. This also motivates the learners because then they're able to bring in their own interests, their own passions into the learning. The sixth top tip for building motivation amongst learners is to build a harmonious relationship within the class. Build a classroom community where everybody feels as one. You, the teacher, and all the learners know that they're a community, almost like a family. They're not afraid to share with each other. They're not afraid to work together. Then each person is motivated by the other person. The seventh thing to do is to always establish clear learning objectives and goals. Now, if you know where you're going, then you're going to know how to get there. You're going to prepare your mind for how much time it will take to get there. So the learners also need this. You need to tell them where they're going. You need to outline clearly the learning objectives. You need to give them the rubrics on how to know when they've achieved the learning they're supposed to achieve. This gives them a sense of direction, helps them to know when they're still on track, and does keep them motivated. They know when the end is near. The eighth top tip for motivating learners is to change up the environment. Yes, sometimes the environment can get boring and just seem drab and monotonous. We can do something as simple as taking the learning outside. We can do something like revamping the classroom. So sometimes you can redecorate your room in a way that is different, rearrange the seating, things like that, just to get people motivated again. The ninth top tip for motivating learners is to make their learning relevant. So give them tasks that can be applied. So for example, if you ask learners to write an article, make a newspaper out of it. If you ask learners to draw up something, paste it around the school, print out posters, have them create videos that you can put on a blog or that you can share with their parents, that you can make into a jingle that's actually going to educate people in the environment. Once they see that their learning has a purpose, that the objective is goal-oriented and will be useful to them, they're likely to be more motivated. Finally, one very important thing for motivating learners is to try different methods. Don't be stuck in one teaching style or one learning style. Try different things. Don't always just keep them seated on their seats. Try pair work, try group work, try competitions, try gaming, try fun ways of learning. Make it fun, make it different. Spice it up from time to time. There's so many different things that we can do. Another important thing that we can try is a kind of discovery learning. Make the learning a mystery. Let them be eager to know what's coming at the end. These are some of the ways that we can really improve motivation in learners. Thank you for listening. Until we meet again, bye-bye.